Hi, today I have a message called a shared luminous blessing. And luminous is definitely the word of the day. It's like with the message, the dawning, how it just kept coming up. So, here's the short version. The surfaces projected from fear have special characteristics and can be compared with other fear surfaces. Behind all the fear surfaces is a shared luminous blessing without end. You can't be happy because of a fear surface. You can play with a luminous metaphor. There is a luminous sky above all, and all can look up to see it. There is a luminous ground beneath everyone's feet, and everyone can look down and notice how all have the same glow. All can look within their hearts and find the glow that all share. There is a soundtrack for this message, and it's the Beatles all together now. You can notice in this place of all seeing the glow that there is no need for compliments, flattery, or adulation. There is no urge to condemn. Okay, so back to the beginning. The surfaces projected from fear have special characteristics and can be compared with other fear surfaces. And if you think about it, we do this all day. And it's not like we have to strive to stop. It's just that we begin to notice that it's painful, it's fearful. This focusing on separate characteristics, even though it seems to be functional for us, that all works itself out. But we notice that every feeling of fear, distress, anger we have is about these special characteristics that we ourselves are projecting out to see. If you think of your eyes as the projectors, and I think David Hoffmeister said this, and your ears as the speaker, that the source of the sound, the source of the sight, not literally, but it helps you. It helps you understand that the mind is projecting something to perceive. And then it is perceived. Why? Because someone wants to perceive that. Someone wants to perceive in that way. Someone's still attached to fear. And then as we notice how we feel, as we become attached to these ideas of separateness and conflict and even chaos, then gradually we understand there's something here that's not all this conflict. There's something here that's not all this separation. And more I can be aware of it and turn my attention to it and lean on it and see it within everyone and everything. Okay. The surfaces projected from fear have special characteristics and can be compared with other fear surfaces. So what stands out when I go back through it a second time is the comparison. And if we look during our day to see a moment when we get unsure about something or upset about something or temptation towards self-condemnation, it's because we looked at one surface and we compared it to another surface. And that's the problem. It's not that there's a defect in your being or that there's a defect in the other one's being. It's that the comparison itself is so poisonous. And there's an idea of addressing toxins in the physicality that's been out and about, right? You want to live in such a way that you get rid of toxins. Well, if you look at this toxin of comparison, you can do the same thing with that. And you can see how much it hurts before you leap to someone should or shouldn't do or consume this specific thing. Go to the comparison you made to decide what was good for someone and what was bad for someone. Whether it's you or someone else, go to the comparison and notice the pain of the comparison and address the pain as immediately as you can. And that doesn't mean that, I'm going to start drinking drain cleaner or walking in front of semis. We still have this comparison going on in our perception until we don't. But gradually every day, we we learn and unlearn. We learn to stop torturing ourselves with comparison. And if we're finding any bad guy out there, that's how bad it hurts to be constantly comparing and judging. And then we try to thrust the extreme pain of comparison out there, and we find an especially bad guy who showed up on our stage for us, or a toxic substance. What do you think makes a toxic substance toxic? Our need, or closer to home, my need to shoot out this tremendous pain and then make it that substance's fault, or make it that villain's fault. Anything to try to dissipate this pain is what we do in the mind, and then we see and experience all these forms. So if we can address the pain of comparison, didn't know I would be talking about this that much, as close to home as we can, as immediately as we can, then that affects the entire landscape of what we see and experience. It's a willingness. It's a willingness to go carefully, to go slowly, to watch, to notice how we feel, to be honest about that. Behind all the fear surfaces is a shared luminous blessing without end. And that is always such a relief to see. When I'm caught in comparison and I refocus towards spirit, this holy instant would I give to you, be you in charge, for I would follow you. Certain your direction gives me peace. That's lessons 361 through 365 in A Course in Miracles. So it's what I've been focusing on lately. When I focus there, I'm focusing toward this luminous blessing for everyone, this endless luminous blessing. That feels much better than believing all ego's comparisons are real and can have real effects. That's so much of a relief. Behind all the fear surfaces is a shared luminous blessing without end. The part, I don't know how to say this. I should just say it wrong, and then and then I'll maybe get corrected and kind of get there. Yeah, I don't know how to say it. Am I even supposed to say it? I'll try. The part of what makes this so hard to swallow is that we have to take responsibility, and egoic thinking has trained us to equate being soothed with putting the responsibility on someone or something else. I'm going to fight to get this toxin out of the river, and then I will have been a success. Or I'm going to fight to put this criminal in jail, and then I will have been a success. I'm aware as I'm speaking, this is like I'm trying to talk to you with a hatchet. Like it's language does not seem to be delicate enough to, it seems so rude and crude the way I'm trying to explain this. But taking responsibility for every single thing you feel and every single thing you seem to see, that's what seems to be hardest when you're looking at it as an ego. Because responsibility equals blame if you're listening to the egoic thinking. But if you're not, if you're listening to the thoughts Spirit gives you, it's that responsibility for what you experience and what you see is the power that I'll share. And here's the luminous blessing. The power that all of us share is the luminous blessing. And when we take full responsibility for what we feel and what we see and what we experience and how we experience it, that is the sharing of the luminous blessing. And in my right mind, I want to bring this on as quickly as I can. So that's why I look carefully, or that's why anyone does, right, at my feelings at my thoughts, so I can see where I'm making a world, and where I'd be making a world from fear and pain rather than from joy and peace, from what is shared rather than from things that could be compared. Ooh, that rhymes. Okay. You can't be happy because of a fear surface. So if I pick out things, separate things in this world, and try to be happy about those, I may notice that I've done this over and over and over and over and over again. That's what time and space has been about. I pick out separate things and I try to find my happiness in them. I may want to notice that it always fails. I may want to notice that it has never succeeded. It may seem to succeed temporarily. We may seem to be very happy about a specific thing. But if you notice, never has being happy about one specific, seemingly separate thing translated to being happy about everything. There's always something here to be unhappy about. So you can't be happy because of a fear surface. However, we can be happy because of what is shining behind the fear surface. So as we learn to orient toward what is behind the fear surface, and we experience the relief of seeing that what is behind the fear surface I'm projecting is available, is beautiful, it's loving, it's available to everyone right now, it's available to me right now, and it reassures you and helps you remember that everything's okay, then that's very helpful. Very, very helpful to find your true happiness in yourself, in everyone and everything, everywhere you look. That's very reassuring. It's like being held in a hug all the time. You can play with a luminous metaphor. There's a luminous sky above all, and all can look up to see it. There's a luminous ground beneath everyone's feet, and everyone can look down and notice how all have the same glow. All can look within their hearts and find the glow that all share. So we can play with the light. If you think of everybody looking up to the sky and seeing something luminous and beautiful and heart-opening and heart-warming, and coming into a realization that they're good, essentially. What they are is goodness. And remembering that about everyone around them, regardless of what they've been perceiving in the past, remembering that about everyone around them, the relief of that. And then if you think of everybody looking down and noticing we're all standing on the same ground, the ground is blessing me just as much as it's blessing that one over there. The light under everyone's feet is equal, and it's beautiful. And look how it's connecting us all. You see a glow around everyone's feet, and you see, oh my goodness, we're all connected by this. And it's the same for all of us. That's what makes us true, because it's what makes this true, because nothing is excluded there. And then if you close your eyes, look into your heart, maybe place your hand on your heart. There's the glow. Everybody shares that. It's the most true thing about anyone or anything. All the rest is perception. And perception is what we choose. We choose perception. Let's see if there's anything else there. You can play with a luminous metaphor. There is a luminous sky above all, and all can look up to see it. There's a luminous ground beneath everyone's feet, and everyone can look down and notice how all have the same glow. All can look within their hearts and find the glow that all share. So if you think of what is real, loves everyone so much that it would just pour out its blessings into everyone's laps right now. And the only thing holding us back is that we keep trying to block it out. And we think, no, in this world of suffering that I made, there's still something that I want and I'm going to try to get before I accept the love that's here for me and everyone. So I can set that aside today, and I can orient toward, there's no reason to hold this back. I'm here for it. And I'm here for it being here for everyone. It's a good thing. Saying it's a good thing is an understatement. And there's no reason to try to hold it back. Okay, so the song given to us is the Beatles, All Together Now. And you can notice in this place of all seeing the glow that there is no need for compliments, flattery, or adulation. There is no urge to condemn. So these special little selves we built up as little houses or protections for ourselves, there's no need to try to build them up or to tear them down. So we don't need to try to tear down anyone else's seemingly separate self by condemning it. We don't need to try to build up anyone else's seemingly separate self. That doesn't mean that words aren't going to come out of your mouth, that you won't be inspired to say words. But there's something different. There's like the urge to form an alliance with someone and to maintain that alliance by complimenting someone, or to come into an alliance, to a perceived closeness with someone through flattery, or to find something you think that is missing in your heart by adoring one separate one. There's something else here for us. Complimenting from fear is pain. Flattering from fear is pain. Adoring one separate thing from fear is pain. And that's how pain is pleasure and pleasure is pain. So we can, as we watch how we feel, and we watch the thoughts that are attached to these feelings, we start to realize this, and then we see, oh, I'm hurting myself if I engage in complimenting from fear, or trying to form an alliance, or trying to keep an alliance between two separate selves. I can just sit back and see the unity connecting the selves and let the unity instruct everyone. So I, as a separate self, don't have to try to flatter, or the answer to my problems isn't in adoring something that's separate or cut off from everything else. I'd be doing the object of my compliments and flattery and adoration a big favor if I saw that being as united with everyone and everything right now. That's the biggest gift I could give to them. And again, that never means that you don't say something that sounds like a compliment. It doesn't mean that you don't say things that sound nice. It's just that this luminous glow tells you what to say, and you say it. There's no trying to do something. It just comes into your mind, and you can deliver it easily because you've let the fear go that would block the delivery of it. And if you're still feeling the fear that blocks the delivery of what love would say to everybody, don't worry about it. Because it's a day, and a day is for noticing, and a day is for finding the thought that blocks the delivery of loving speech, if that's what's called for. And a day is for setting that thought down, and a day is for reorienting toward what is actually here for all of us. A whole luminous shared blessing. So there's nothing to worry about, and everything to address if it needs to be addressed today. Everything to open up so we can see what's here for everyone. And there's never a good reason to beat up on ourselves or anyone else. There's just this great benefit that's always here for everyone. And as we learn to look toward it, we learn how to be the instruments of delivering it. So that's good news for everybody. For everyone becomes a recipient and a deliverer of blessing. And that's just what we're coming into together. Okay, I think that's it. Thank you for listening, and happy healing.